All right, how's everybody doing? It is the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show. 3 games to talk about for today. We'll talk about last night. We will go over some short slate strategy, I am sure, and talk about free stuff that we have going on today. Hopefully, you guys had a good Tuesday, a successful Tuesday. And this is the only day of the week where we don't have a slate of at least, I think, 4+ games or 5+ games there are on Friday. So one of the better weeks we've had in terms of just getting a bunch of games each night. Bad Tuesday must have faded Edmonton 1, I guess, if it was a bad Tuesday. Last night ended up being pretty good for me. Maybe some of you had the same sort of success. If not, onto the next slate, right? That's why it's a daily game. This slate is, I think the slate's pretty good. It looks like I'm going to be a little bit different than what the field is. Ownership projections have it pretty flat on DraftKings. Boston won in Calgary, taking up quite a bit of the ownership. I'm not too crazy about those teams, to be honest. Well, I mean, everybody likes Boston 1, right? But it's, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be different today, so that is good to see. The tournaments aren't huge over on DraftKings and FanDuel. We are, of course, presented by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. They've got some big NBA contests. This is really the last big NBA slate before the end, of the first half of the season, unofficial first half of the season. I'm also trying to find this Osmo. Yeah, I gotta go to the Twitter account. I forgot to pull this up before the show. Okay, so what we've got going on. Free giveaway, biggest giveaway ever, we are calling it. Guess the total points in the Lakers-Nuggets game. That is tonight. So you need to do this by tonight, February 12th at 10 p.m. Eastern. There's been a bunch of guesses. You can find it on my Twitter account if you, for whatever reason, can't see the link in chat that I just sent. It is a chance to win a free Osmo Plus Platinum Yearly Pass. $3,000 value we're giving away. We're giving away 3 of them, $1,000 each is the value. That gets you access to everything on the site. If you wanted to add on Fantasy Cruncher, you could for an additional charge. But yeah, pretty good giveaway we've got going on. I'm trying to see. There we go. Congrats to our 6,000 followers on Osmo NBA. Here's what we got going on. So if you are looking to become a member and maybe you don't play much NBA, this is a chance to get a really good deal. $15 for all access, NASCAR, PGA, EPL, MMA, and of course NHL. So you get those 5 sports for $15. 8 full days of those. That is a pretty good discount. You get use promo code BREAK to do so. That's a really good deal. I think it's about $20 off for the week in savings. I think it's a $34.29 value, and you're getting that for just $15. So try that out. If it's not working out for you, you could always cancel if you wanted. I think you guys will like that though. PGA, NASCAR is huge this week. PGA is huge every week, and then there should be some massive NHL contests. So if you're looking to get behind the paywall, this is a great way to do so. $15 for all access for all 5 of those sports. People asking where the show is at. I mean, just click on the link that I sent in the Slack chat. Anyways, I just sent the link, and now people are asking where it is. That's fine. We'll keep it moving. Yahoo, again, is the sponsor, one of the most trusted names in fantasy sports. Take advantage. Use our tools over on Yahoo. I think it's a great place to play. Promo code Osmo is how you get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. This is why Yahoo is a great place to play. 12% management fee. They've got CSV edit, so if you are maxing this out, or you're playing 10 and you don't want to upload by hand, they've got CSV edit for you. So no excuses not to play on Yahoo. No excuses not to use some of the tools we have on the site for NHL and NBA, golf, PGA. Nolan's been playing a lot of PGA, having some success there. Oh, all good? No, all good. I'm just joking. I just thought that was funny. People were just saying, click the link above. You're good, Eric. Nothing like some laughs on a Wednesday show with the short slate. This stream probably won't go the full hour. I'm not feeling too good. I don't know if you could tell my voice, but I've got a headache. Only on one side of my head, though. So probably something to do with sinuses. So we're going to get through this, and then I will chill until lock. Super Draft projections. These are free today. If you are playing on Super Draft, I know this is not a Super Draft show, but if you are playing on Super Draft today, there is a $10K to first $40,000 contest going on, and that's huge because that is their biggest contest ever. So we got our biggest giveaway ever, Osmo.com. Super Draft has the biggest contest, and we've got free projections. We've got free articles as well for Super Draft. So go and do that. Go get involved. These things shouldn't be free, but they are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Deep Dive, also free today. And then, of course, the deeper dive will be on right after the show. Some whiskey, is that the remedy? I don't know. I'd try anything at this point. It's not that bad. Okay. So lineup study did not populate correctly, at least the DraftKings contest. So I don't know what's going on there. Yesterday was the 11th, but I can't get the DraftKings contest to load here. At least most of them, except for the turbo slate. I don't know. So we'll look at the FanDuel 5K. I've got the DraftKings tournaments if you guys want to see how I did. Always like to show you just for transparency reasons. Sometimes I do well, sometimes I do really bad. But I always like to show you that. So at least you guys know that I'm playing at least and trying. I'm not just, not playing or anything. CMB DFS 99, 70 lineups. Took down kind of an unconventional number. 70 lineups, cashed over half, profited over the 5K. Oh, the postponed game. That could be it, actually. That's, I didn't even think of that. But that is a smart hypothesis you have there. Stahl, Parisi, Fiala, Edmonton won without McDavid. Clefbaum, who cares about the 6.4 points? Didn't really matter. Neil Pionk got an assist, got 12.8. And then Grubauer, 47.2 points on FanDuel. This user took it down. And yeah, just pretty conventional stack, honestly. So yeah, it's if you did 3-3 stack, I think last night, and you had some Edmonton one, maybe you had Minnesota, you didn't necessarily need them to profit, but if you did have that combo, like, you were sitting very well. Same thing here with Testosterone, one of the better players. 3-3 correlated goalie. Stalock got the shutout. Clefbaum and Hedman were his guys here. Wait, how did the other guy beat him? How's that possible? What was the difference in the defenseman? Oh, Grubauer had 7 more points. That's right. Okay. So there you go. That's what was happening on FanDuel in the biggest tournament. Osmo as well was up there. What is Alex running? 3 threes? Well, really a 4-3-4, including the goalie on the Edmonton side. 4 with Spurgeon and 3 Minnesota forwards. Ekblad one off, needed a little bit more. And only used $53,100 dollars. So is that $1,900 left over? Is that right? 55,000 on FanDuel. I can't even remember what it is. I don't play there much. I should play there more. I just prefer how other sites do it. Okay, this is the 33. Last night, I donked a Draisaitl goal for the assist and the Smith win, and he got the 35 save bonus. So it all came together at the end somehow. And our buddy Brick was up there. This is just a 3-3 with uncorrelated defenseman, correlated goalie Smith. Was not looking too hot for Smith. He had thanks. Joe V, appreciate the super chat. Use half for the medication for yourself. Send the other half to Slim Cliffy for his Detroit 1 call in Slack. Yeah, that was Sliffy was talking about liking some Detroit 1 last night, and looks like it worked out for Joe V. Nice job. $1,900 remaining, and Ekblad as the one-off optimizer error or something. How do you not upgrade with that salary remaining? Well, I know Ekblad did have a pretty good projection for us, but maybe he was just trying to not get duped, honestly, and that was the best guy that he thought that he wasn't going to get duped with. Because he ran a 3-3. I know Alex has a process of grading players out so he can or grading the best lineups. And I'm assuming pricing on FanDuel is pretty soft if you weren't playing one of the top guys. So if you just would have jammed in Hedman and Clefbaum, yeah, I mean, you're more likely to get duped if you're just running 3-3s like that. So I think that's why he downgraded to Ekblad. Ekblad was probably projected for like 2% ownership, whereas those other guys were probably projected for 10, 15, and that makes a big deal, being duped versus not being duped. You don't want to give up your EV, especially when you're proven one of the best players in everything, as Alex is. So New Jersey 1 wasn't fantastic. Jesper Bratt was pretty disappointing, but this was higher stakes stuff. There's less entries, and the rest of the lineup turned out pretty well for me. Okay. That's funny. You won the $5 single entry with Detroit 1. That's why. That's awesome. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate that. So that is a premium Slack member. That's great to see. Okay, so that was the 33. This is the $10. Or was it a $10 last night? They're doing an $8 tonight. Rambo 7 took it down. Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Yamamoto. No correlated defenseman. Matheson was playing forward towards the end of the game with Pissick on the fourth line, I heard. And he had 24 points, scored a goal, 2 assists, 3-point bonus. Kind of had everything going for him in this lineup. Cleared it by 12 points. I mean, no one was catching Rambo 7 last night in this tournament. Uncorrelated goalie with Grubauer. The rest of his forwards, Connolly, Strome, and Trocheck. So I guess it was a 3-2-1 with Trocheck and Connolly on that second line. Those were the lowest scorers in his lineup, though. Well, except for Sergachev. But, yeah, just good production all the way around. Got the goalie with the shutout. One more save, and he's just dominating even more. So, nice job here by Rambo 7. Again, a bunch of familiar names up near the top. This slate blows. He had an Anaheim D-man and still got 5th in the $10 on DK. Who's that? Alex? Yeah, he had Lindholm. I think Lindholm had an assist too, and that obviously got taken away. Yeah, scary. Jeez. Just terrible situation with the Bouwmeester thing. Has anybody read an update on him? I saw that he was someone was saying that he was alert and conscious and moving his arms and legs, but yeah, that is, obviously just a terrible, terrible situation. But yeah, let me know if you guys read anything. I haven't looked since earlier this morning, but yeah, that obviously wiped out the late game, and this is probably why we're having issues with FC, because this still shows this contest is ongoing. Getting tests, yeah. He's alert at the hospital. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. Hopefully nothing serious. Maybe I was hoping you just dehydrated or something. Jake, what determines whether you run a 3-3 stack opposed to a 3-2-1? Oh, okay. Bomeister update coming in 13 minutes. Sweet. I mean, I on a bigger slate, I want more correlation. So I'm more likely to run 3-3s. On a slate like this, though, I'll mix in 3-3s, 3-2-1s, and other stuff like that. Yeah, I did see they used the paddles. Jeez, that is terrible. At first, I was just like, oh, hopefully just dehydrated. But yeah, I did see that, and I was like, man, hopefully they can get that situation sorted out. But back to the 3-2s, 3-3s. I don't know. I mean, it just depends. If there's a plug on one of the lines, and it's, maybe that's where you use your 2-man, and you leave that guy off. Like I would have left Jesper Brad off if I was running 3-2-1s, but it just depends. The bigger the slate, the more I would like to stack in general. I've heard the smaller the slate, the more correlation matters. I've heard the exact opposite. I think the smaller the contest, like on a big slate last night, you don't have to be as perfect. The smaller the contest. But I don't know. I could be convinced otherwise. I mean, I'm not. I'm just regurgitating what smart people have told me. So I'm willing to be wrong on a lot of stuff. I just know my own ideas of other people's ideas. So there you go. Okay, so that's what we got going on. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. If you got any questions about any of the promos or anything, feel free to hit me up. I know we've got a lot going on. So my Twitter handle is above. A bunch of you guys have DM'd me in the past asking me questions. That is, of course, encouraged. You don't have to be like a premium member to DM me or anything. I'll try to help you out however I can. Okay. What else do we have today? Oh, I'm on the lives page. All right, I am out of it today. Let's talk about the games. Montreal, Boston, 2.3 applied total for Montreal, 3.3 for Boston. Carey Price and Tuukka Rask are your goalies. And we've got a pretty popular Boston one. It is a short slate. They've been pretty disappointing recently, I think. Pasta had that massive stretch there, like maybe was that early January, late December, somewhere around the All-Star break. Or I'm sorry, somewhere around the New Year, where he was just scoring every game. And Boston one was the nuts a bunch of times. They've quieted down for sure. I am a little bit worried about them in this spot. Just that, not that they can't score on Montreal one, but like they don't even have the highest total on the slate. It is Price in net. I know some people hate Price. Think I don't even know why people hate Price, but maybe it's a DFS thing. However, I think he's capable of having a really awesome game, and I think Boston one's capable of having a really awesome game. The ownership, like I'm not sure that Boston should have more ownership when you factor in the price and the applied totals and all that than a team like Vancouver, which you can get really creative with. And I know you can, see, like I know you can like stack them together, but it's not going to kind of be perfect. It's going to be difficult to do so. Boston one is over 24K. Marchand has been pretty disappointing recently. Like he's not attempting a lot of shots. He's not generating a ton of scoring chances. Pasternak's been Pasternak. So, I mean, as a one-off goes, it's probably him, Kane, and I like JT Miller a lot. Obviously, he's not in their categories as an actual player, but I think for tonight, like that's another guy I'm looking to one-off a bunch. Bo Horvat, there's a bunch of one-offs, but obviously Pasternak right at the top there, 8,500. I'm just not as interested as I thought I would be in Boston 1 as a full stack. Kind of a tough matchup if they go up against Danault, Tatar, Gallagher. You guys know my feelings on that line. I don't really want to use Danault, Tatar, and Gallagher all that much. I will crunch out everything, so it's possible I get to some full stacks of Montreal because you are getting a pretty good discount. Boston, I just think, is a really tough matchup, kind of all around. You look at the numbers for the second line for Boston; they've been pretty good. I like the second line a bunch as a full stack. I like Kuhlman a ton for 3K as a one-off guy, and maybe that's another guy that you could fit in a Boston one. Just being so cheap, he's been really active. Boston also has a good third line, Coyle, Heinen, and Bjork. Their fourth line, Corrali, Wagner, like they're comfortable enough to put that line up against opposing top lines. So if they feel that way, like they're just good. They're just deep and they're good. And the record obviously indicates that. So I don't like Montreal 1 if this were a bigger slate. I would probably just X them off if I was getting to them. But because, let's see where their ownership's at actually. Yeah, they're pretty low. I mean, they're half of where Boston 1 is. Because of that reason, like I'm going to get to some of them, and they fit pretty well with Vancouver, which is where the majority of my exposure is going tonight. So, yeah, Deneau did take a puck to the face. He had a mouth injury, which isn't great, but at least it's not. He'd probably wear a full cage or a full shield, whatever you call it. And he should be pretty good to go. So Montreal 1 is actually my favorite Montreal line, and that's really all I have. Like, just a pretty brutal spot for them. 2.3 implied total, lowest in the slate. Even if I'm not crazy about Boston, I can't get super excited about Montreal either. Outside of Gallagher, I don't know if there's a ton of one-off guys. Maybe you could make a case for like a Domi or Armia. I don't really have much interest in doing that. Shea Weber probably out for the season if you saw the news for today. Maybe done for his career. Petrie at 5,400 would be the guy that I would look at for 5,400. Sherratt is 4,200. He's going to play a bunch of minutes, and that's really that's really all you're looking for with Sherratt. If he can get you an assist and a bunch of blocks, that's what you're spending $4,200 for. So I'm okay with that as well. On the Boston side, you'd like to get to Krug, but if you go Boston 1 plus Krug, there's like 2 lines that you could fit that aren't fourth lines with that foursome. And you're probably going to be duped a bunch of times. So I think that's a good part of the battle on these slates when you're multi-entering, is just trying not to have that many lineups duplicated, and then seeing if it breaks your way. And so Boston 1, because of how expensive they are, they restrict your salary so much. Krug, same way. It's hard for me to want to full stack them too often. If you want to go Pastrnak, Bergeron, or Pastrnak one-off, by all means. He's never a bad play in a short slate. He'll probably hit the 5-shot bonus. He seems to do that pretty often. But like I said, I do really like this second line, Krejci, DeBrusk, and Kuhlman, despite the lack of correlation. You could also get weird with them. You could go Krejci, Kuhlman, Pastrnak. You can go DeBrusk, Pastrnak, Kuhlman. If you're uncomfortable leaving off all of Boston 1. But with Kuhlman as a center, it does actually make it easier to kind of leave off Krejci. He's not the biggest. He's not really an aggressive shooter or anything like that. And 5K is a little bit expensive if you are trying to fit in Pastrnak. So same thing with Coyle and Heinen and Bjork. They're just really cheap. If you wanted to Josh stack Boston 1, that's another way to get different with them. If you want to go Boston 1 and Boston 3, might be a smart idea if you're going for the onslaught. Krug, McAvoy, $4,700 for McAvoy is a little bit expensive. He's going to spend a lot of time with Boston 1, so he's got that going for him. And then Krug he's just really expensive. Him and Marchand are the guys that are going to get left out a bunch for me tonight on the Boston side. So, yeah, like Ryan said in chat, close your eyes and fade. I'm not fading fully Boston 1, but I'm not going to get to where we have our ownership at, especially on DraftKings. Let's go to Calgary and the Kings. 3 implied total for the Flames, 2.6 for the Kings. David Riddick and Jonathan Quick are expected to go. I think it's Rask starting. Yeah, Rask is confirmed in that last game. Kopitar, Iafallo, and Toffoli is a line I actually like a lot. And they've got good numbers together. I think they're at 2.75 expected goals, 4 per 60. Pretty good sample. They're locked in for a bunch of ice time. They're all on the top power play. Looking at where they're at on the ownership projections, I think they're about right. So I like LA1. I think I like the LA side more than the Calgary side, especially when you factor in this ownership for some of these Calgary skaters. Gaudreau, Monahan, Lindholm, that has not been a good line at all this season. So if we're projecting them to be one of the most popular lines tonight, I'll be going way under where we have them at. We've got all of them projected for over 24% ownership. Seems crazy for a line that has not performed well. It's not like it's a super high total for Calgary. It's not like it's a good matchup either. They're going to get Kopitar. I prefer the LA side quite a bit. Cliffy was talking about how bad Backlund's numbers were for the season as well. Carter, Kempe, and Brown. Well, not necessarily that line. I think they're okay, but I kind of, like Lizotte Wagner 2-man. That's another way where if you wanted to fit in Boston 1 or get all the expensive Vancouver guys or the Chicago guys, like Lizotte and Wagner have just been pretty good together this whole season. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're just seeing weak competition, but getting to go up against Lucic and Derek Ryan and, Calgary 4, like I'll take some of that as many stacks. Played a contest Sunday. Halak was 90% owned and didn't play. Yeah, we found out he wasn't playing after it had already locked, which is crazy. I guess he got sick during warm-ups or something. But yeah, that probably won't happen again tonight. That was also a day game. Weird things happen during these day games, or if you are on the Arizona Coyotes because no one covers the team. So give me some LA1. I like some LA3 as well. On the Calgary side, I'm just mixing and matching these lines. I don't think they're going to really be priorities for me. So I'm planning on playing 100 lineups tonight. My highest owned guy is actually Backlund. He's just so cheap, 3,800. He hasn't been that terrible in terms of generating some offense, playing with Mangiapane and Tkachuk. Not a bad... Oh, I'm sorry. Tkachuk is my highest owned guy. And that's what I would prefer on the Calgary side. The full stack isn't that appealing. But I think I like Calgary 2 over Calgary 1 when you factor in the ownership, which I think you always should be doing. If you are not correlating goalies, Riddick should probably be a target for you as well. LA always puts up a ton of shots, ton of attempts. They're not usually very high quality attempts, and that's gold when you're trying to attain that 35 save bonus. So Riddick, 7,700. He's probably going to be my highest exposed goalie on my non-LA teams, which there will be a good amount. On my non-LA teams, I will have a lot of Riddick. I would guess he'd be my highest exposed goalie on the slate. And when I am correlating, that's also going to push up some of these Calgary lines, which I don't really love too much. Okay. Tuukka, Rittich. Yeah, okay. I mean, I have Rittich number 1. He's affordable. He's probably going to see some volume. I'm under the assumption that most goalies are bad. So I don't really care about goalie skill that much. Maybe someone has something to say about that in the next game, although it's not even Leonard, so maybe not. But defenseman in this game, you could play empty minutes Doughty for 4,800. I'm probably playing this guy a bunch tonight. In fact, Doughty looks to be my fourth highest owned defenseman on the slate, which makes me sick. He just rarely does anything. You're looking for assists. Other guys you could look at, I suppose Alec Martinez. He hasn't really been doing much. Sean Walker, he's a guy who I've played a decent amount of. But yeah, it's really Doughty, and that's just because of the power play for me right now. On the other side, Hannafin, top power play. If I'm playing a lot of Kachuk and some Backlund, then I'm going to end up with some Noah Hannafin. His minutes are up. Without Gio, kind of the obvious guy, more of the peripheral guy than Rasmus Andersson, who I'm not a huge fan of. So that's really it on this game. Just to recap, LA won, one of my favorite stacks in the entire slate. Good numbers. I think a pretty good matchup against the Monahan-Gaudreau-Lindholm line. I like them over the Monahan-Gaudreau-Lindholm line. And, they're not being owned at the same rate as those guys. So I think it's kind of a bad matchup for Calgary 1. I hope they do not get there. But what are you guys talking about in YouTube chat? I'm trying to read back here. Would you take a backup goalie to try to avoid the negative points a goalie could see tonight? I would not. Play a starting goalie. It's not very often guys get negative. So there's not a lot of concrete rules in DFS. Every slate's new. But yeah, don't play backups. Let's go to the last game of the night, the best game of the night. So this is a really weird slate. Like, late swap is definitely a thing if you're going to put the time in and see where you're at. Because you're going to have 1/3 of the slate being over before this game even starts. Or, it'll overlap a few minutes. But, yeah, you should be looking at your lineups if you can before these two late games start, because there's definitely some late swappage to be had here. Put the kids to bed, do whatever you have to do. Go into your office, tell the wife or the husband, got to do some work, and then get your swaps in and sit back and watch yourself shoot up to the top. Okay, Blackhawks, Canucks. 2.9 implied total for the Hawks, 3.5 for the Canucks. Corey Crawford and Jacob Markstrom are your goalies. How crazy is an LA one with Rittich and net given the shot upside? I would not stack against my goalie on a slate of this size. I don't think it's dumb to allow a player against your goalie, but I'm not doing it on the slate. I usually only save that for 2 gamers. 3 gamers, I think there's enough options that you don't have to do that. So new lines for the Vancouver side. Horvat, Miller, and McEwen. We saw this prior to pregame skate or during pregame skate in Vancouver's last game. Looks like they stuck together for the most part. And Pettersson, Pearson, and Virtanen. So this was 2 nights ago they played. Horvat, Miller, and McEwen are going to see a lot of time, I'm assuming, against... I think it's probably against Kane and Saad. I'm not sure who they consider the top line. I mean, Taves is the top center, but some teams match against Kane, some against Taves, some don't match at all. Horvat usually matches. So it's not that big of a deal for the Horvat side, who they go up against. You'd like to... I'm guessing you'd like to avoid... Horvat if you can, if you're looking to play Chicago. But I'm just all over Vancouver. I know they have the highest total on the slate, but with guys littered all over the power play, with McEwen that people will leave off 2,500, I like everything on the Vancouver side. Chicago on the road is, just Chicago in general is just a bad defensive team. I think it's going to be a good matchup for both lines. Tay's line has been good offensively. They are not good defensively. Kane has never really been good defensively. And then you add Doc and Brandon Saad. And then third line, I mean, Nylander, DeBrincat, Kampf, good luck with that line. So I think Vancouver is the play tonight. I literally think you can stack all three of their lines. I think you can Josh stack. There's no Leonard in net. And even Leonard has bad games. If Crawford has a bad game here, like it is one of those things with Chicago where if their goalie is not having a 80th, 90th percentile game, they're just going to get blasted. Leonard gave up 4 last night. I would expect somewhere close to the same for Crawford. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Canucks stink, but they're going to be my highest exposed team by a very good margin. And that means, so defensemen suck tonight. Defensemen are actually awful. I think one way to differentiate would just be to play Vancouver, play Edler over Quinn Hughes. Edler at 5,700, probably one of the better defenseman options tonight. And he just because he doesn't play on the power play, no one's going to play him. So, yeah, I mean, 5,700 for you're paying for peripherals there and just minutes played. You're hoping that Vancouver gets it done at 5-on-5. Otherwise, it's probably going to be Hughes if they're scoring on the power play. Hughes is 5,300. So I'm going to mix and match both of those guys. Jeremy Roenick is my hero. NBC in a suck now. Is Roenick not on NBC anymore? Okay. On the Chicago side, really, for me, right now, it's probably just going to be Chicago power play or Kane. One thing you could do, and we saw this some last game, is just put Taves, Kane, and Saad on the same line and just say, all right, or put a bunch of guys on power play one that you want to play, because if Chicago gets down, they're just going to go with Taves and Kane on the same line for the third period. So that'll ruin your stack if you're playing these even strength lines. The best even strength line to play for me would probably be the Doc, Saad, and Kane line, even though I think they're going to see some Horvat time. I don't know. I know the numbers are good for the Taves line. I'm just not a believer in like Kajula, and Kubalik was shooting like 20%, and that's not keeping up. He's cooled down quite a bit. But back to Vancouver, JT Miller probably will be, him and Pedersen will probably be my highest exposed players. So those guys are on two different lines, but same power play. Horvat will be up there. I mean, I'm just going to have some of all of these guys. I love JT as a one-off. I like Horvat as a one-off. I like that as a two-man. I like McEwen up there. At min salary, it's just a lot of stuff going on that's good for Vancouver tonight. There's not a bad matchup against Chicago. Biggest total on the slate. Like, are people really playing Calgary over Vancouver? Maybe I'm the one that needs to rethink things, but I mean Calgary 1, not Calgary 2, because I'm playing Calgary 2 quite a bit. But I don't know. If I was playing just one lineup tonight, it would probably have 0 Calgary, or maybe Kachuk one off, and it would have 4 to 5 Vancouver players. Yeah, I agree with Vots. Vancouver's the play 100%. Yeah, they are. You know what I'm thinking about? I don't know. Maybe this is just because I've been running hot. I'm thinking about just Xing out Calgary 1. That might be a little bit irresponsible tonight. But if we think they're going to hard match against Kopitar and they're going to be 20% plus owned, that seems like I should just be playing Vancouver, like 20% more Vancouver or whatever I was going to play of Calgary. And just, I don't know. I shouldn't X people out for the most part, but I'm thinking about it. Calgary 1 does not have the ability to match. Yeah, but LA 1 does. LA 1's going to match them. And even like if they get up against the third line has been good. Lizotte and Wagner, I don't know what's been going on with them. So that's I I don't know that LA is the softest matchup here. It's not like Calgary's been amazing either. They haven't, especially not the Monahan, Gaudreau, and Lindholm line. Let me pull up what this line has so far. Backlund, Kachuk versus the Carter line. Yeah, so that's the one that I like better. Okay, so Kopitar, I follow Toffoli, 3 expected goals for. These might be a little bit higher than what you might see on Natural Stat Trick. Monahan, Gaudreau, Lindholm, 2.54, 2.7 against, though. That's bad. Oh, I'm sorry. That's with Backlund. Let me see. I think it's even lower with Lindholm. Yeah, 2.1 expected goals for per 60 with Gaudreau, Monahan, Lindholm. That's a 350-minute sample. That's terrible. That is actually terrible. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of, I wasn't crazy about Calgary 1 before, and I usually don't X people out, but if I was going to X out a popular play, and maybe I should be jamming in some more Boston 1 and, just discarding these Calgary lineups. But if I was going to, I think it would be this Calgary 1 line. I just don't think they're any good at all. So that's what we got for today. Deep Dive is free for today by Adam Scher. Super Draft projections. These are free. Go play on Super Draft. They've got a 40K contest, their biggest one yet. They have 10K to first in that. All the Osmo guys will be playing that. So go fill it. If you need some Super Draft content, if you don't know what it is, check out our projections that I just sent in chat. Also, check out the articles. Damien did a pick 3. Biggest giveaway yet we've got going on. We've also got the $15 all access pass, 8 days. You get platinum all access to NASCAR, PGA, EPL, MMA, and NHL. You get those 5 sports. Promo code BREAK is how you do that. This is a nice cheap way to get involved. If you haven't been behind the paywall, this is your chance. $15 for 8 days. You're saving about you're saving about $20 for the week, for the 8 days. That seems like a pretty good deal to me. Shout out to Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports for sponsoring us. Yahoo is a great place to play if you're just trying to build up a bankroll, or if you want to just get some more volume. If you're confident in your DFS game, play with less management fees. 12% compared to the 16%, which is kind of industry standard, which is outrageous. It's hard to beat the rake, and Yahoo makes it a little bit easier. So shout out to one of the most trusted brands in all of fantasy sports, Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Check out their NHL contests. I'm guessing starting tomorrow, they're going to have some pretty nice size contests. So I'll be looking out for that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And what do we got for tomorrow? I know there's a couple games for NBA, so they're not technically on break. But we've got 11 games to talk about tomorrow. That means Nolan and I will be breaking it down. EMAC and I, on Friday, will be breaking it down. We'll be kind of doing a NHL DFS for beginners with EMAC and myself. He will be making some dad jokes, I'm sure. You'll get a little bit of everything. EMAC, sneaky good NHL DFS player too. So don't let him fool you. This guy wins those winner take all tournaments on DK with relative ease. So it'll be me and him. It'll be fun to do a show with EMAC actually for the first time in 4 or 5 months, 6 months. So yeah, it'll be nice to see my buddy, and hopefully big crowd. Maybe not too many people spamming the chat. So that will be on Friday once NBA is officially on All-Star break. It will also be a little bit later, so keep an eye out for the time. It's going to be pushed closer to lock. Take advantage of the extra eyeballs that we could get on it. Thank you guys for asking for likes for me. If you could hit the like button, that would be fantastic. It helps us keep the lights on, as Chris Spag says. But it really does help us with YouTube's algorithm. So if you could hit that, that would be fantastic. And I will see you guys back tomorrow for the huge slate. Good luck.